Everybody, and welcome to Some Like It Pop. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Mr. Parson James.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
We're also joined by Matt.
Right. Here I am.
A less
He is
special
here
guest.
too.
No less special.
Oh, no.
So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
You're hot off of releasing a brand new single, Sad Song.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that song.
It basically was formed after I ran into an ex of mine, and I was in LA at this bar, the Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
Which was dark
know it
already.
well. I have dark experiences there already.
I think we all do.
We do, yeah.
But yeah, I ran into him, and you know, I just hadn't seen him in quite a bit, and he just hadn't changed. Everything was kind of the same personality, same, you know, kind of pretentious, kind of like it was like, okay, this person is just the same person. So that kind of made me just start thinking about our relationship. And I went to the studio the next day, and I was still thinking about it, and I just kind of started having this conversation with myself, like, whoa, man, here you used to be drunk on the couch and just crying about this person. You know, you're waiting up for someone. This is not even a real relationship. So I started like pouring all those words out, and then I was like, this all sounds sad, but how happy are you that you don't have to deal with that anymore?
Right.
And I think that it's ultimately like, it's about like being like so happy that you found the power in celebrating your own worth and realizing your worth. And you know, it may be hard to like say to someone, you're just not good enough for me, because that comes off a bit like cocky or pretentious or whatever.
Right.
But if someone is not living up to your standards, and if they're making you feel small, then there's no reason to stay in that relationship. So that's where it kind of formed.
Totally. It is like a self-empowerment anthem, but not quite as hit yourself over the head.
Right.
With
Yeah.
messaging.
It's not so
yeah,
obvious.
because it's still a little hurt. There's still a relationship aspect to it.
Right.
That's awesome. So was that fairly recent, or when was that recorded?
Yeah, that was like 5 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and whenever I started writing, I worked on it with the same guy I did my whole EP with.
Okay.
And you know, once I started like kind of writing it, and we kind of recorded it really quickly, I was immediately like, I love this song. And we had another single in mind, and I was like, no, this is like, has to go
Switch
now.
it
Oh,
up.
cool.
Yeah.
Is it typically that instantaneous for you to like feel something like that and immediately sort of dive into it?
I don't like listening to my own music anyway, so
Okay,
if I can
right.
find myself listening to something repeatedly, I'm like, I know that I love it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So that's kind of my test. If I'm
Right.
catching myself like, oh, I've listened to this song like 26 times, that must mean something.
Right.
Yeah.
Were there any songs you were listening to at the time that inspired you, or any sort of mood were you in then 5 months ago?
I was listening to a lot of, you know, I'm always like kind of switching it up, but at that moment, I think I was listening to Leon.
Oh, yeah.
Tired of Talking. She has like a cool way of just kind of expressing sadness, but getting to the point where like, you know, I'm tired of talking. Like, so I was in that like sassy, like, okay,
Yeah.
you know,
Inspired by that.
I mean, yeah, it was, you know, kind of a vibe. And I was in LA. I hate LA so much. So
I can identify. Get me out of there is my
I
thought
like it
every
for a
time I go.
vacation.
yeah,
but-
no, weather is perfect, and
Yeah.
you can be held. I'm a vegan the second that I get there, and I'm up at Runyon, and like I'm feeling refreshed, and then like after
Right.
6 days of talking to people, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, you need to come back. Yeah.
One
You like
green
it more
juice
here.
too many.
I love it here.
Yeah.
I think that's all because I moved here at such a young age. I was 17, and just like immediately going for a goal, and I like learned everything about like, you know, how hard it is to scrape change together and like live for the week, or the things that you have to do, like go out and mingle and blah. I learned everything here, and I think that's why I have such a strong attachment.
Yeah.
And everything is very hard, and nothing's easy. You can't be comfortable really ever here
Ever.
unless you're like
Never.
completely
Funny,
killing it.
the stereotype is really true here. Like, it does feel like you have to grind always.
Always.
Never comfortable.
Yeah, never comfortable.
It's its own relationship where it's you are putting everything into it and getting nothing in return,
Yeah.
and yet we stay
Yes.
in it.
There's
Yes.
something special about it. I don't know what that is. But
Yeah,
That's true.
I think it's
That's very true.
masochism, and we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
So you touched on your EP. I want to talk a little bit more about it. Tell us about the inspiration behind it. And also, I have talked to you about this before. I feel like you have such a specific sound already, which is very rare for a debuting artist to have sort of cultivated a sound / aesthetic / brand. And I feel like you've already successfully carved that out for yourself.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about the sound of that?
Yeah.
EP and all that?
Yeah, no, that EP was coming from a time where the writing process probably and the EP came out in February. I probably was starting writing that like a year or 2 years before. Um, and I was writing a lot for other artists, and I was like kind of writing for myself as well at the time. And someone told me, because I was writing like a love song or something, and someone was like, "Who's this about?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I was just like writing a love song, and I guess I wasn't being honest. And that made me think like, why are you not more honest with yourself? Why don't you face like things that are in the back of your head? And so, growing up in the South, where I grew up, didn't have, I couldn't possibly kind of deal with the things that were brewing in me. Like I couldn't address the gay thing. I couldn't, address feeling like outcasted because of my race or whatever, because I was surrounded by it. Yeah. And so once I got out and that person told me that, I was like, you know what? Let me just sit down. And I started just kind of, the first thing that I wrote was Sinner Like You. It was like more like a poem about me coming out to my mom and how I was not just coming out to her, I was coming out to this whole community of judgmental, hypocritical people. And, as I got through it, I was like, but that's fine, because we're all the same. Like, the Sinner Like You is all about just like, look at in the mirror. Like, don't look at me as,
right.
one thing's
You've
off.
got your own.
Yeah, for sure. So
with.
Once Sinner Like You was written, everything just sort of kind of fell into place. And I used that EP as therapy for me, to kind of remind myself that I should love myself, and that I'm special, I'm unique. Just because I was kind of told otherwise growing up means nothing. Those opinions of others are far gone. I have a great mom that loves me, and I can sing, and there's these things that I never celebrated before that I got to do with that EP, and I'm mainly hoping, and I've seen kind of response from people, that it affects people. They message me and stuff, and they're like, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere and I can't come out. What do I do? And every advice that I give to a person is always different, because everyone's situation's a bit different. So I'm hoping that just with that EP, you get the sense that I'm just trying to constantly remind people to embrace and love themselves and celebrate that you're a unique human being. And that's kind of the vibe of that whole thing.
Totally. I was actually really interested, knowing your background, if you've gotten any feedback since from the same people that might have been mean to you or anything.
They're in love with me now.
Yes, of course.
Is that right?
Of course.
And I would say everyone, and it's like, I have to keep remembering how the people were raised, and, and the things that were hammered into their skulls for the past, like, however many years. Like, they don't know any better.
Right.
And luckily my mom, she was thrown out for being with my father, because he was mixed race. And so she dealt with judgment from her family. So there was no way she was ever going to judge me. She'd been thrown out so early. So I think that, now looking back, all those people that kind of attacked my mom were mainly her family. And, the whispers around the community and stuff. And I've seen the most kind of flack from my family as well. It's super strange, but, it's, I don't know. I just remember the people and the things that they would say and the family members would say. And now everyone's like, oh, that's my cousin and stuff. And I was like, but what did you call me whenever I was a kid?
Right, yeah. Suddenly people are sliding into your DMs and Facebook messages.
Sliding fast, like as a home run or something. Like,
is it, do you remember me? Like, like, aren't we? Yeah.
It's a lot of, I don't know. And it's, whatever. I know it's exciting to see someone from a small place do something, but I think it's, hopefully that means that they're changing their views. I hope it's not just because.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, because you had quite a unique experience in that Stole the Show, blew up beyond belief, and you were all over the world performing. Yeah, and you went from 0 to 100. Yeah, yeah. Tell us a bit about going around the country, world, and what that was like.
It's amazing to see how each place is so different, and like how people receive music in other places. Like in the States, we're not saying everyone's this way, but I go to a concert and it's more about the selfies and whatnot. If I'm going to do a show in Germany or something, those people are like there. They paid for that ticket. They're there. They're like, can't believe that they're hearing the song. They're so passionate about it. So I noticed, that was the first thing I noticed, how like enraptured in music people were, and they were not focused on anything else other than music. That's so great to see. And then I always love to see, how the gay communities operate, and like how open people are and whatnot. I went to New Zealand, and I got to perform with a 60-piece LGBT choir in a cathedral in the middle of Auckland, and I was like, this is crazy. Like,
Awesome.
you know, and this is a place so far away from
Yeah.
what I'm used to, and you know, just to see that how progressive some
Find it more
places
tolerant
are.
for the most part outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I'm sure it does exist, but I've not experienced or seen like much. I mean, especially when I was in Auckland, like racism and you know, homophobia and stuff was.
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't see any.
reassuring.
Yeah.
Those experiences considered, do you find yourself like getting more politically involved, like having met all these people and getting these messages and sort of like confronting all of these issues that you sort of touched on?
Yeah, I mean, I try to tread a thin line. 'Cause,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
you know, I don't know everything, and
Right.
I can just kind of speak from my own experiences, and so that's why I said my advice to people is very different depending on the person, where they are, and like whatnot, because it's just different for everyone. Um, I'm just all here for equality, and I'm all here for love, and I'm all here for. I can't process what racism and homophobia is, like why it doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's just like so stupid. So that's kind of my views on it, and just open about that. Like, and I think me being a musician, I'm a musician and I'm a songwriter and I make songs. Doesn't matter if I'm the gay guy making songs. Like, did you like the song?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, sort of. And I've never tried to take the position of the gay pop singer that's
Right.
here to unite the world. I mean, I stand for all those things, but no one person can put themselves on that pedestal. I just think that the more that we just kind of just tell people to embrace themselves and like celebrate each other, that's all we can really do, right?
Absolutely.
Here's hoping, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the music they have coming up as well.
Yeah.
Have you been obviously recording right now? Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah. Another single's coming pretty soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. In a matter of weeks.
Oh,
You know, I think it's important just to constantly, you know, have content. Like, people want to hear music.
They do.
People, you know, people are.
they're needy.
They're needy. They're done in a second. Like,
That
this
is the
song
problem.
It's up for 2 weeks already.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm that way as well. I mean, I
Yeah.
we're like
New albums constantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Of course.
So that's kind of the main goal, and I've been working with some cool people: Justin Tranter, Julia Michaels.
Amazing.
We have 2 records together that are really cool, and I think the next one that I'm going to put out is one I did with Justin and Julia.
I have a lot of questions about that because I just listened to RuPaul's podcast and she had Justin on.
Oh,
and they had a
wow.
fascinating hour-long conversation about songwriting, A&R, and labels and how all of that works and splits and all of
Yeah.
that. And it got really nerdy, which I was really interested in. He just sounds awesome.
He's everything.
Yeah. What was it like working with them? You know,
I've befriended him before, so I think that it was cool because I'd hung out with him so many times. We've sat and we had such impassioned like conversation about, you know, life and, you know, gay rights and like music, the industry, and like things that are working, understanding when your moment is, and how he had like several moments and he's living in this one moment now.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Got to be aware it's not always going to be there.
Yeah.
He's a really great person to learn from. But I think you know, going into the session is like, this is well after they've been so successful. So stepping in with both, and we worked with Greg Kirsten as well, who did a Hello by Adele. So I was like into this room like,
Yeah.
and you know, Justin was like, it is a song.
Right.
It's either going to be a great song, it's going to be an okay song, it's going to be a song. Like, please just stop this, you know, pressure. And the second that I was able to just kind of separate and it was just kind of like hanging out with friends, and yeah, it was really great. I'm super proud of what we all did together.
That's amazing. Yeah. So what is the vibe like when you write together? Like, is somebody playing music and you're writing to melody?
Yeah, for me, I need to be fully collaborating with. If I'm, you know, I haven't done many co-writes like with Justin and Julia. I'm usually with one person, like, which would be a producer playing
Yeah.
the keys or something. And I don't know, a chord always inspires like a word.
Mm-hmm.
A chord on a piano would inspire like maybe a memory, and then I kind of walk around the room shouting out lyrics.
Right.
And I don't really write things down. I just kind of need to, the song just kind of, I don't know, I like let it come out and have my voice notes kind of going. But working with Justin and Julia, it was like, Julia is so interesting. She sits there and stares while you're humming and stuff, and she's whispering to Justin, and all of a sudden they're like, we've got something, and then Julia would have like an entire record.
Really?
Yeah, so that was crazy to see. I think that's my favorite thing at the moment, like just seeing the process for everyone else, because that brings things out of me that I didn't know I had. And yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. And what about Greg?
Oh man, the most incredible musician ever. He had a fully produced song within like an hour.
Wow.
Drums playing. He's like walking to the drums. He's like, "What keys do you like?" I'm like, "Those keys are cool." He's like, "How about like this?" And I was like, it started by me going in. He was like, "How do you feel today?" I was like, he's like, "Something like this," and he played a chord, and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Got it." And then
what? That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's
I mean, he chucks out dozens with Sia. Like they just
they
turn them
sit
out
and just do it.
and they're all great. It's crazy how they do it now. It's like a machine in a way.
Yeah, it's the most talented people I've been in the room with for.
Wow.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We won't take offense to that, but it's fine.
Yeah,
you
right.
guys
Yeah,
are
exactly.
Seriously, a close
Before we collaborate on a song.
Before we have a slumber party.
Right, exactly. Oh, thanks for the slumber party now on iTunes. So that's coming out in the next coming weeks, you think?
Yeah.
That's
that record will
awesome.
be out in
Cool.
December.
Very cool. How about touring? Now I saw you live. I think it was 2-3 months ago.
Yes. Rough Trade.
Amazing show.
Thank you.
Tell us about your live experience. What's something you didn't expect with the whole concert experience?
I just never think that anyone's going to show up. So that's the first thing. Like at Firefly Festival this summer, I played there. It was the first time I was like doing a headline slot without, playing a festival with Kygo. And I was like, oh. I remember telling like my friends, like, you guys could go watch someone else because I'll just do this and then I'll come meet you guys because I don't think anyone's going to be here. And it, turned out to be amazing, obviously. So, my favorite thing about doing music is live performances. Like, I like the studio and I like the process, but I feel super restricted in the studio. With live shows, you kind of get a different crowd every time, and you get a genuine connection. You can look people in the eye and see how they're receiving what you're doing. And when people know the words, it's kind of crazy. I don't get that yet. That's like blows my mind. I think that I don't know. I think maybe I didn't expect that people would be so like kind of into it. Like, and I did the Rough Trade show, and people were like, I don't know. It's just weird for me that people can sing songs from my EP and know the songs. I can't wrap my mind around people knowing my songs yet.
Yeah, you'll get there. You'll eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of it. It's my favorite thing. So we're gonna be doing touring for sure.
Yeah.
I have a show in December as well. So but we haven't announced it yet.
Where are you going?
I'll be here.
You'll be here.
Yeah, we'll do a show here, and then we're gonna jump on a tour in February.
Amazing.
Hopefully with a pop diva, but I can't say anything.
Our minds are running wild.
Yes, exactly. Anybody you met, speaking of pop divas, I've seen you out and about with a bunch of people. Anyone that has sort of mentored you or given you good advice, maybe that would surprise us? Or
I feel like a lot of really amazing, strong women in my life, and like a few of those, like Tovlo, before I put out Sad Song, like I immediately sent it to her, and most friends will be like, oh, this is cool, this is great. Tovlo gave me a complete, like, full email full of every thought and idea and reaction, wow. And she listened to it a bunch of times and broke it down for me how she felt, what should be different, if things should be different, but like totally left the ball in my court, just suggestions and stuff. And I value her like opinion, obviously not because she's just because she's like a brilliant songwriter and a singer, obviously, just because she's like a genuine like human being that would really take the time and effort to analyze and give me that feedback. Another friend of mine, Nicole Scherzinger, sorry. She's always been like a mother figure sort of thing, sister figure. She just is so positive, and she's navigated this industry for a long time, and she's constantly calling me, not to ask about what I'm doing, but just to be like, how is your mental state? How stressed are you? Like, what are you doing? Are you meditating? Like, take some break from the studio, like, don't get too caught up. And like, she's just always there to check on me and make sure that I'm not kind of drifting into that, because she's seen a lot of stuff. So I'm thankful for those two women for sure. And
I saw that you've been meeting up with JoJo lately.
Yeah. She's like
queen.
I can't talk about her. She's like, as a kid I was staring at that screen, like 12-year-old girl on the screen. I'm 12 12 years old as well. And I'm like, whoa, I can actually do this because this girl's doing this and she's doing it so flawlessly.
Yeah.
She is everything. I need to be in that high school wherever she's at
Right,
now,
right,
like
right.
in front of those lockers. She's amazing. Another person who's super, super great, like checking in and how's your voice and are you taking Slippery Elm? Like you need to, you need to get a neti pot.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
She's certainly seen the dark side of the industry, so I'm
in
sure
a way
she
that
has.
I can't even like.
Yeah.
I was complaining about my song not premiering like at noon and it premiered at 4, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I've waited before, you know." I'm like,
Waited,
I
believe,
can't
9
relate to
years.
that. What's that like?
Yeah. So it's good though to get people who are watching out for you, obviously.
yeah, it feels great. And especially it's so hard in an industry that's so competitive.
Yeah.
To just find genuine people that want everyone to do well and to not get caught up in the sauce and lost in the whole thing because it's so easy.
Absolutely. Are you finding there is any competition? You don't have to name names, but are you finding that there's been any?
I find that the listeners just have to compare. And that's the worst. It's not the artists themselves doing it. It's
Okay,
the
yeah.
listeners doing it.
Yeah.
And, fan groups are crazy.
Oh, that's for
They're
sure. We know a
so
thing or two about
insane.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had some experiences.
Oh, man. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get stuff. Even just wearing a hat. Like, it's like, oh, no. Oh, your album cover looks just like Gaga's. I was like,
Yeah, but
I
you came
love
out
Lady
before
Gaga,
that.
I love her. And
Yeah, it's crazy something that simple could evolve into such a conversation piece. But
It
yeah,
can turn
like we
into-
see it every day. It's crazy how that
Yeah.
happens.
it turns
Yeah, we
into
do.
hatred so quick. And I'm like,
It does.
we're not there.
And I don't know that it's even intensely actual hatred or just boredom on Twitter because, you
Right.
know, people will just put 2 pictures together and be like, see, copied.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, it's really just a waste of time from bored kids.
Yeah.
But
And there was, of course, that Gaga thing the other day where just the mere mention of Madonna, of course, suddenly.
right, that
Trigger.
reignited.
Right, yeah.
Reignited. Yes, that sure
No,
did.
yeah.
But good that you're not getting lost in that either. I
No.
highly recommend, if there's anything, not to look at the comments too much because even when they're positive,
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes artists really, there are certainly some artists who have sabotaged themselves from getting too involved in fan fights and the comments to the point where it did affect their career.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know better than that.
Yeah.
I had my moment, obviously, when this stuff first started happening.
Yeah,
With Gaga's
yeah.
song, I was like, oh, what are people saying? You know, and I look at the YouTube comments, and I definitely had like 3 or 4
Mhm.
Oh, no.
little moments like, you don't know me. I'm a great person.
Right, right. Well, it's
When
really
you got to go back
true.
to the got to do some meditation, then you'll.
It's true that you'll get 100 great comments, but then there's one and it
just
ruins your
sets you
whole
off,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I try not to. And if I do, I don't respond. I just feel like, okay, nobody's going to have the same opinion. So,
Exactly.
and I can't like expect everyone to love what I'm doing. And I don't expect everyone to
Right.
love what I'm doing. But, you know, I'm doing this because I love doing it. So, and if people can attach themselves to that and they can connect to what I'm doing, that's just awesome.
That's awesome. What are you listening to right now, by the way?
Let's see. Solange's new album.
Yes.
She's gonna be on SNL. That's
She's
awesome.
doing
Gonna be
SNL.
SNL,
I
yeah.
know. That's everything.
Huge.
So big. I'm listening to that. I'm listening to Joanne.
Yes.
Me too.
Are you?
Joanne.
I'm obsessed.
Well, we had a very
Stay,
divisive
Joanne.
podcast. Oh, yes. We had a very divisive podcast about Joanne, but we don't have to go into detail.
No.
I
can-
love it. So
You're on the record. You love it.
I love it. And I love, obviously, Glory, Queen Brittany.
Yes. Yes.
If I'm dancing. No, the music's good.
Amazing.
What else am I listening to? I love Leon. I keep saying that, but
Yeah.
like, she put out a new record recently I love. And Terror Jr., I'm really interested. I don't know if that's Kylie Jenner or not.
I know. Yeah. I want it to be Kylie. I
I
would
want
like
it
to
to.
believe that illusion.
Sometimes I'm like drunk enough to believe it.
Yeah,
I tweeted
no,
that the other day.
exactly.
And I was like, I so relate to this.
Right. Yeah.
I've
there's-
sat in a car in an Uber and been like, you guys don't have, this is Kylie Jenner. You have no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what they're doing is awesome, and it's Felix Snow in one half of the
And
Cataracts.
he's one of the first people I ever worked with in New York.
Oh, really?
And we worked for months and months, and we wrote some really funny and cool stuff together.
Yeah.
It was like whenever I first started like getting into this whole thing, and my manager, who's my manager now, he was a publisher, and he set me up with all these co-writes for like a different artist albums and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I learned a lot in the beginning because I was writing with just Felix Snow and another guy as well, and I learned my ropes with Felix a bit, and it's so crazy what's happening for him.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
totally. Now, as far as co-writing, are you writing for other artists at the same time? Are you interested in doing that, or right now it's all about you?
I mean, I'm
Not to be selfish, but
I love writing, and
Yeah.
I'm always going to be writing. So if that morphs into, that, if I can do both, that's awesome. I'm always there for it. And if I'm approached by someone I really love, of course, I'm going to hop on. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of songs. I think over like 250 something songs I've recorded in the
Wow.
past few years. And so some of those songs are finding homes with people because they're just not making sense for the record,
that's awesome.
So that's cool. Yeah. I love, like I said, collaborating. So I'm always open.
Cool. And who would some dream collaborators be right now?
Adele. But
I've heard of her.
Don't we all?
Vaguely familiar.
Emerging artist.
Yeah,
Adele. Yeah.
emerging artist Adele.
I love this girl, Maren Morris. She has that
I know
song, My Church. She's like kind of country.
Okay. Yep.
And Casey Musgraves, who is country.
Of course.
Yes.
And
That would be a great fit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to do that. I would like to do JoJo, obviously.
Yes.
So
I have a feeling she's down. She's just such a cool girl.
I will
Like Tove.
like
formally endorse that. Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be like crazy, but I can't get my hopes up.
No. But that's awesome though. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank
This is
you
awesome.
for having me.
We're really excited about new music, new tour, new single out right now.
Yeah, sad song.
Sad
is
song.
out,
So
but
thanks.
it's not so sad.
It's not so sad. It's deceiving
As
title.
previously
Deceiving
discussed,
title.
yeah.
Still bop to it.
Still bop.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in again.
Thank you.